Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me good. I've changed my setup a little bit, but hi and welcome to Sunday. I think we're on July 26th. We're rounding off the last week of VelociCode. And what better time than to kind of close up the week a little bit and get this next final week push to tell you how to get ready for submissions. Not only submissions for your project on Itch, but also your planning and prepping for the showcase on August 1st at St. Mary's University. Super excited to be hosting this event again and about to close this out for an amazing month-long event that we've been having with VelociCode 2. From not only the kickoff to our playtest nights to all of our mini events in between. A reminder that this is concluding on it on August 1st. We'll have had 11 events focused to VelociCode. So excited to get started with how to submit. I mentioned in the chat, if you're hanging out with us live, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them as we're talking. I'll either answer some of them at the end or as we go. Make sure to review them before we bring them up. But I have several slides to go through, like I said, from submitting to Itch and talking about Showcase. But let's dive into it. So, how to submit. We're covering a few basic things, a bunch of stuff related to, like I said, the beginning of this, but what we're covering is that theme, prize, and judging, how to submit to Itch, and then the showcase. So these are our three main topics for today. We'll probably get through them pretty quickly. So like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to bring them up, ask them away, but these are our main topics. So a reminder, if you didn't already know, if you've somehow made it to the end of this month, and you're working on the project or about to start on the project, our theme this year for VelociCode 2 is Fossil. This is your way to interpret. You can do anything you want. You can use it as story. You can use it as a core game mechanic. You can even have a good idea. I heard someone say they wanted to build a watch game because of like the Fossil watches. I thought that was such a good quirky thing to do. I don't know if they built it. We'll find out in less than a week. So excited to see that too. So a reminder, the prizes, the things you're working for, right? We will have 3 prizes. We have a best overall with at least a minimum $200 value and a best use of theme at a minimum of $100 value. These 2 items will be the minimum here for that we will be utilizing our judges to vote for. So as judges come around and check out your project, these are what they're judging for. Not only the theme, but also the overall. So theme kind of plays into overall as well, but we made theme its own category because, I mean, what's not to love about, a good old fossil mechanic in the game as well. They are split prizes. So if you're just a 1 contributor or a solo dev, you get the full pool. If you're 2 developers, you get, the $100 and $100, right? So that'll be how they split. We'll get with you after like the event to figure out how to divide things out, but we don't need to talk about the nitty-gritty yet. Crowd favorite, something we're bringing back, something that's been successful with our AI agent showcases that have been happening the last 2 years, and something that we also utilized last year at VelociCode to let the crowd be a part of it. Because like I mentioned, this event is not only exclusive or not exclusive to our developers and those who are participating. It is open to the public, so feel free to bring your friends, family, people coming to hang out, come check out all the projects. They will also have a say into what the crowd favorite choice would be as well. Right now, I have it budgeted at about $10 to $20 per winner minimum. So that means each person on the team will get that amount. That being said, we have a ton of prizes up for grabs, and we have added a ton of value to things. So these aren't the final numbers. These are just your base values. So let me take a swig. Cool. So how you will be judged. These are the things that you will be getting judged on as your criteria. So gameplay and fun, creativity and originality, execution and polish, and theme integration. So with number 4 being the primary catalyst to your best use of theme prize pool. The gameplay and fun, this is was it enjoyable to play? Does the mechanics feel good and seamless? Just the overall generality of playing your game. Also creativity and originality. Hopefully with the idea of Fossil, it brought some originality to some of these people. Some of these developers and designers into the world. So I've been seeing some really cool games get created since the playtest and even since week 1. So liking all of the mechanics and assets and tools and ideas that everybody's been bringing, super excited to see the end of that, right? And then we have execution and polish, so that smooth part, right? How complete is the game? Did you focus on the MVP, or did you go towards, I'm going to try to do everything at once for the whole month? So scope creep is your number one enemy. So this uses last week to kind of round off. And if you have items or you're still struggling to get to that good spot, find that good spot and then work on iterating from there, right? Theme integration. So this is the theme woven into your mechanics, your story, anything to, add to your game that might be a benefit from the theme integration, whether or not, like I said, the integration between the story, the mechanics, the assets, the gameplay, the story, like general storytelling. I could repeat a couple things, but that's the kind of the gist. Again, this is our judging categories. So again, this is what our judges will be going around basing your game off of. So step one, if you haven't joined the jam, you need to. We have a fair amount of y'all signed up, so I don't expect that none of y'all haven't signed up, but those who have joined us late, don't forget to join us on itch.io/jam/VelociCode 2. You can find all of those links also on our website at acmsa.org/VelociCode. All those, you'll see RSVP and join the jam and all that kind of stuff. You'll see links littered throughout the page. Make sure you check those out. So once you've logged in and registered for your free itch.io account, click Join Jam, and you only need to do this once. After joining, you can start to click Submit to begin your submission process. We're about to walk through that whole submission process now, so let's get into it. So one of the first steps you'll have to do is upload your build. You have different options. These are just reminders on the kind of assets and tools you might need. A lot of them can take, if you have a Windows build, a Mac build, a Linux build, an Android build, if you built just like a web-based game. If you have built, I did open this up to physical games. If you built a physical game, this is where it kind of gets a little tricky on itch, but you can submit a small video and or just some assets related to your game on that submission so that we know you have something to submit. If you zip up, like let's say just a bunch of photos and maybe a video of you playing with someone or you're by yourself, you can submit that as well. That is acceptable for those that might have built a physical based game. But these are the things that you should take as a reminder. I'm hoping y'all powerful game developers already know what to build there. So let's kick it out of the park. So setting up your game page, these are some tips and tricks on the reminders of your cover image. A good recommendation from Itch is the 315 by 215 pixel recommendation. It's just an easy asset to make. I made one for our itch.io Game Jam landing page. If you need that as a template, let me know. I can share those later. Additionally, add screenshots. I recommend at least one, just so that we can know what's going on. I always say you're filling out your submission in the event that judges that come by, they only have a few minutes to actually truly get to interact with your game, ask you questions, and then they need to move on due to time constraints, right? So if there is a time during judging deliberation where your project is up against another project for a position on, being awarded a prize or being runner-up or such, having that submission filled out to the best of your ability will help those judges and the people running that deliberation review your game and compare it to the other. So sometimes, submitting and having a holistic submission is always super helpful here too. So again, make your page public if you possibly can. I'm not saying that's 100% requirement, but it's just so that we can review it. As an admin of the VelociCode Game Jam on itch.io, I'll be able to see any of your projects. I don't have the ability to set them public, so don't be worried about that. But make your page public if possible. Draft pages, here's the note. Draft pages are invisible to everyone. So if you haven't started now, start on your draft submission and get that content in there already, just so that you have that started. Because when it comes down to the day on July 30th, at 11:59 p.m., that shouldn't be when you're submitting. I am not opening, and I repeat, I am not reopening the submission time. So have your game submitted before then and make sure you've submitted it, okay? Big reminder here, not everyone on your team needs to submit. On this submission piece here, you can remember to just coordinate with your team, make sure only one person is submitting. There is a note that I added in there to add who is on your team during submission, and that's when you'll add yourself and your other teammates in that field. It's just so we can correlate not only between your pre-RSVP signups to the final RSVP signup for presentations and your itch.io submission, right? And this is how we as the VelociCode organizers can tell who's doing what, who's on which team, and the extra, right? So the basics. I'm about to go into a few steps of the different things to remember. Basically, it's just all the fields that you'll be typing in. So you'll need a game title, your team name, your team members, and a short description. These are definitely your 4 most crucial ones. The other ones are also helpful, but they're required. But these are the main ones that you definitely want filled out. Title, make sure it's your game title. Team name, don't always have to have a team name. You can call yourself Team 01, but I always think it's fun. And then we have team members and short descriptions. Make sure you fill those out per the description in there. Your game. Make sure these are where it gets a little bit more specific, right? So you have a theme connection. Explain how your game goes in with the theme of VelociCode 2 this year. This helps the judges later on, again, in the deliberation phase. If they're not making the connection to the dots, maybe your description might help them make that connection, right? Additionally, what platform does your game run on? Make sure you recommend or share what platform your game does run on, just so that we know when we're testing or wanting to review the games later as well. It's also helpful for those people viewing the games online as well if you make yours public. Controls on how to play, very crucial. If you don't have a tutorial screen, because of my limited game knowledge, I know menus are hard. And tutorials are also hard. So make sure you at least list a simple list of things of how the controls on how to play, whether or not that's navigation or exiting or anything like that. Make sure that those are listed as well. Biggest thing to add to is your tools used. Share the engine, the framework, the things that you use to build it. If you're printed physically, tell me what kind of Ender 3D printing machine you use. If you use Werner's custom audio sounds, make sure you give him credit in your tools used thing there. Make sure you add all that information there for yourself. All right, the big piece here for disclosures. Pre-made asset disclosure. Never did at any point we say you couldn't use pre-made things. That's totally allowed. The biggest thing here is you disclose what was pre-made and what kind of assets you've used before that are not yours. That's all we're really asking for, whether or not it's assets, plugins, libraries, fonts, musics, or anything else that you might have used to help you complete that thing. Am I saying disclose that you used Unreal Engine? No. That might be a given, but make sure you disclose any of the extra plugins or libraries that, go back and make sure that they're supposed to be accredited, that kind of thing, the things that you did not create. A big one that's been coming up the last couple of years is AI usage disclosure. We had made a statement at the beginning, and it's listed, I think, in a couple places throughout our advertising to make sure you know what our stance is on AI. AI assisted is fine. AI generated is not, right? We want to see where your creativity comes in, where your creativity built, your teamwork of creation things added to your game, right? This is, again, I know some people are better designers than they are coders. I know some people are better coders than they are designers. I know there's a topsy-turvy thing, right? So I understand the want to develop solo or in smaller groups and utilize AI to get to your end goal. That is totally acceptable. Again, you're just disclosing how you used AI. The last couple things, these are optional. They're always fun to add, always good things to reflect back on. I've seen them really positive for other events I've helped lead and be a part of as a judge or a participant or as an organizer, right? Make sure if you have the time, add these 2 things. Add a gameplay video or trailer. They're always semi-fun to create. You don't have to be a master. It doesn't have to be perfect because it could just be some B-roll of your game, and that's totally okay. We like to see, again, in that deliberation period, if there is a moment where we're like, hey, we're looking between game 1 and game 2. Game 2 had this benefit, but game 1 really had a really good submission because we see all the things they did that we weren't able to capture during our final review or during our few minutes at that table, right? So if you have the time, create a gameplay video or trailer. It's always fun. Another thing that I always like to share is those lessons learned. Again, this is an optional field. So what went well? What was challenging? If y'all didn't get a chance to interact with me at the playtest night or any of the showcases last year, one of my favorite questions to always ask those who are building things is like, what was the hardest thing you had to do, right? Because I like to see, learning and progression and development, right? Like you're not just using this to be like, hey, I'm just doing it to do it, right? You're doing it because like you love to do it, right? You want to create something cool. You want to add something cool, right? So utilize this section to share what you learned, what went well, what was challenging, and then really share what you're really proud of during this progression, right? Things like this is always what shines to me, where someone who came in without any knowledge and made something, right? Or someone who came in with a lot of knowledge and they were like, wow, I got to do all this kinds of things. And I use other aspects of different things I never learned before too. So that's what it means to, progress in your skills and add to your toolkit. So having this like lessons learned is a good place to reflect on, like, 5-10 years from now, you can come back and reflect on like what you did today. Cool. So some basic submission tips. I know it's just a list. I'm not going to go into all of them unless you'll have questions. But some simple things: write a description that tells the story of the game, not just a feature list. Include screenshots. Judges and voters vote with their eyes first. That's a big thing there. So like if they're coming back and looking at the itch.io submission page, that stuff will be there. Be specific on your theme connection. That helps us create that connection in case we're missing it. Disclose your assets and AI use honestly. I know I said disqualify, but I know it doesn't shine a good light on a lot of things here, right? I know I misused that term when I wrote it, but just make sure that you are disclosing your usage. Additional thing, you can update your submission at any time before the deadline. So that's my encouragement here, is to start on that submission, get that time created, get those fields filled in, get your team members added, get your projects submitted, and then you can leave it in draft until you're ready to go live with it. If you're looking to be done with it, go ahead and submit it early. That's totally okay. But get that time in, create it there if you can, and we'll get going there. Cool. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We're kind of rounding off towards the end here. So again, if you have any questions. So let's talk about the showcase. If you didn't already know, and I didn't have a chance to update this, but we are presenting science fair style, where you get to set up your game at a table, judges in the community walk around and play each of your games. It is in person only. I will be having my team help me for the final presentations that after judging deliberation is completed, where we hand out awards. That's when we will be going live. But the event to review each and check out each game is only going to be in person only. I know it says venue TBA, but we have finally confirmed we will be at the University of St. Mary's University near downtown San Antonio. Great venue, great conversations had. Huge shout out to Vanessa and Dr. Redfield. They're great partners to the community. They recently also had a game jam called during Goddard Day. So if you haven't checked that out, they have a submission on itch.io. So that's some cool rocket ship related games. So again, prize eligible teams must attend in person. Now there's a question. I know we had made a statement during the playtest night that we were only giving out awards to those who were there in person. This will be a little bit different. If let's say you have a team of 4 and only 2 of y'all can make it, y'all 2 will come to the presentation, present your prize, and then I'll work with y'all after to get all 4 of y'all's prizes. Okay, that is the biggest thing there. If you see down here in the bottom, make sure you are already submitting to be RSVP. This is a different submission, right? You will be submitting your game on itch, but you also be needing to submit your attendance on there as well. This gives myself and other organizers a chance to coordinate getting tables set up, creating a map for y'all, creating a map for the guests and stuff like that. So things like that will be there available for you too. Something else to consider, you will also have another RSVP. This is just the pre-RSVP, so we're reserving tables and chairs and stuff now. So please make sure you pre-RSVP. Everyone that pre-RSVPs will also get a follow-up on the final RSVP on the day of submission day, and that will last from the 30th all day till the 31st at 10 a.m. These will be our final numbers for those presenting. If you fail to RSVP, reach out to me directly. We will try to get you sorted out. But again, these are to help with logistics and planning and final show off, right? I don't want to be having to take on a team at the last minute. So again, please, presenters, make sure you sign up ahead of time for that RSVP so I know you're coming. Okay. So again, come to the showcase, register your intent. You can check it out, this Google form. If you really want to type everything in, you can type everything in. But this form is due July 29th. You can scan the QR code here. But again, like I said, you must be doing that to present. Again, if you come back and view this slide later, this deck will open up with the final submission RSVP as well. But I will be making announcements in Discord. And if you follow up our meetup page, the ACM San Antonio meetup page, I will be publishing messages that way too, to try to get the broad usage of those out there as well. Also on the HIO, I don't know how subscriptions work on HIO's like community page, but I'll be publishing it there as well. Cool. So presenting at the showcase. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. So presenting at the showcase. Biggest thing, we will ask all of our presenters to show up about 30 to 45 minutes earlier. So kickoff time for the showcase is 11 a.m. on August 1st. Again, that's 11 a.m. on August 1st. So you'll be getting there about 10:30, 10:15, ideally, so that you can set up, get power, find your table, or already have tables laid out for you with your team name and stuff like that at each table. I'll have some printouts at each so that people can scan QR codes and check out your project. And have all the information on there as well. Have your game running and playable before judges arrive at your table. Like I said, I'll probably be releasing our judges around 11:15. So when I say 11, we're getting started right on the dot. We want to make sure we're not there too long, but at the same time, plenty of time for everybody to check out projects. So prepare a 60-second pitch. That's kind of like your introduction. If you've ever been to elevator pitch conversations, make sure you have like a quick overview of what your project is, and then kind of get to the nitty gritty. Because like the biggest thing here is getting people to play your game, right? So like I said, prepare a 60-second pitch. What's the game? What's the theme connection? You know, what did you do to create it? Who's your whole team? Don't forget your team name and the project name, that kind of stuff. Then get into the content. Let the judges play. Let the community members play, right? Guide them, but don't play for them. There's some cases where some judges just like viewing people play the game. Your best information is to leave that lasting impression, is to let them play the game as well. So I'll try to remember to have chairs for those playing so they don't have to like arch over and bend their back and play games. But that's another consideration there, is to make sure that we have time to play the game. We'll talk about time in a minute though. Talk about your process and what you did with more time, what you do with more time. While judges are playing an interactive game, you're allowed to, still talk to them, guide them at the same time, and be like, this is why we did this. This team member drew those assets and made it do this kind of thing. This developer did this thing, right? Like adding those extra pieces to the development process while somebody's actively playing might be good information to share with them as well. Like I said, talk about your process and what you do more with time. Have a QR code with your HIO page ready. You don't have to do that. I will handle that. If you don't make it public, I won't have that QR code. But if it is public, I will make it on that level. I will have a printout at each table of like your team name, your table number, so that we know to relate it to the judging platform that we'll be using, and as well as some just general information that you shared with us. If you have a QR code available, I will be putting a QR code on there. So don't undersell. You ship something in a month, be proud of it. That's the biggest thing. Like I know I talk about like presentations, it's almost a pitch deck, and you're not really selling anything. You're selling fun, right? You made a fun thing, you created it yourself, you created it with a team, you're there to show it off. It's what you made, and what you made came out of the year, right? So everything you've done this whole July, whether or not it's been a few days, a few hours, a whole month, we're excited to see it. I think all the judges are excited to see it. And I think those who show up to hang out are really also excited to see it. Cool. Big reminder, submissions due 11/30th, 11:59 p.m. at HIO. That is a different timeline of our RSVP, but understand your submission is due on July 30th, 11:59 p.m. This is because you need to have all your projects in the day before. so that we know what to account for. Like I said, I'll most likely be planning for everyone that submits a project to be there, but please RSVP, just so we know if y'all need anything else. I'll try to have extra monitors. If you don't have monitors, we should have power at every table. We should have chairs, all that kind of stuff. So don't be fret. If you're just bringing your computer and stuff, that's fine. But you're at a presentation fair. If you have time to make up and be artsy craftsy and add some flair to your setup, bring it. Bring a table cover. I don't care. You have time to set up your table how you need to, set it up and make it yours, and that kind of stuff, right? If you want to make stickers, make some stickers, right? I've been addicted to stickers. That's the comment. But you have that opportunity to set up your table how you would like. As always, I want to give a thank you to our sponsors. They've been helping out through the month. We have a bunch of cool stuff to be able to hand out. So thanks Texas Roadhouse for a bunch of gift cards we'll be able to hand out. The museum for some winning prizes. We have boot.dev with a bunch of free codes for everyone that does submit. Interview Cake, passcode for those who want a 7-day free trial for interviews. And then Black Potion for hosting our space recently for one of our events. And then thank you to our community partners. I do need to update it with some more, but everyone here has been helping us throughout the whole month, whether or not it's been venue space, organization, and general stuff, or just the physical support. It's been great with everyone here, helping create things. We wouldn't be here without our community, and that's the biggest thing that always matters for me. Rounding out here, go submit, do the submission now. Like I said, you can start a draft, create it now, get it kind of over with, get that content in there. And then, if you're still working on it this week, you can re-upload another build, right? You can re-upload another build. You can re-upload another build. That is not a problem. The only cutoff, like that you can't upload anymore, is July 30th at 11:59 p.m. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it here. I'll be hanging out on the side, for a couple more minutes. But if you have any questions too as well, drop them in Discord, at me, the organizers, the VelociCode organizers, or anything else will be available in Discord. We'll be keeping it pretty light. So this is the last event. I'll be posting a lot about reminders on submissions. I'll be sending out a bunch of information on what the final showcase event is going to look like, and as well as just like that kind of information. But that being said, I'm glad you made it here. Excited to share this stuff for those that are watching live and those that are watching it later. Make sure you review this as well for any tips and tricks that you might want to take advantage of. If you have any other questions about how to submit and or what to prepare for the showcase, hit us up. So always available. And I always appreciate all of y'all for hanging out and creating content and being a part of VelociCode. So this is our second year. Excited to round it out. See you on August 1st. Later, y'all.